Did dinosaurs really exist? This is a common question among Bible scholars and theologians, especially in light of the numerous fossil evidence found around the world. The scientific proof of these colossal creatures raises questions about how they fit into the narrative of creation and the biblical account of Earth's history. According to scientists and historians, dinosaurs roamed the planet millions of years ago and were driven to extinction after the impact of a catastrophic meteor. This impact is believed to have caused an enormous explosion, drastically altering the climate and triggering the mass extinction of these creatures, along with other forms of life that existed at the time. This explanation is widely accepted in the scientific community, but is it the only possibility? The Bible, while not directly mentioning dinosaurs, may hold answers to this mystery. There are passages that refer to mighty and enormous creatures described in detail in ways that intrigue scholars. What truly happened to these beings, and what is the biblical perspective on their existence? The search for answers regarding the existence of dinosaurs led to the creation of a science dedicated to studying their remnants: paleontology. This field investigates fossils, petrified remains preserved in rocks and mountains over millions of years. Through these records, scientists reconstruct the history of life on Earth, analyzing the forms, behaviors, and potential causes of extinction of these giants. However, during the Middle Ages, knowledge of fossils was limited, and these discoveries were often shrouded in mystery and superstition. Many believed they were the remains of dragons, reinforcing myths of winged serpents and fire-breathing creatures, particularly in Chinese culture and European legends. These misunderstandings helped fuel the belief in legendary monsters throughout the centuries. The absence of the word dinosaur in the Bible raises questions, but there is a simple reason for this. The term was only coined in 1842 by paleontologist Richard Owen. Since the biblical texts were written thousands of years before this definition, it's natural that the word would not appear in the scriptures. Despite this, fossils remain irrefutable evidence of these creatures' existence. Scientists estimate that dinosaurs lived around 233 million years ago, based on the dating of fossils found worldwide. The study of these remnants allows for a deeper understanding of Earth's history and the events that led to the extinction of these species. If you're enjoying the content, don't forget to leave a like and subscribe to the channel. Now, let's return to the video. The creation of living beings is described in the Bible with a specific order, beginning with the aquatic creatures. God forms the animals that inhabit the seas and rivers, granting them the ability to multiply and fill the waters. Alongside them, birds are created to fly across the earth, beneath the firmament of the skies. This stage of creation is considered good by God, reflecting his intention for diversity and balance in the natural world. The organization of living creatures follows a defined pattern, dividing them into distinct groups. First, the marine animals and birds appear, each with their own specific habitats, followed by the land animals. This division reinforces the idea of order in God's creation plan, ensuring that each creature exists according to its kind, as established by God. After the aquatic creatures and birds, God creates the land animals, including both wild and domesticated species. Each one is designed for its respective environment, demonstrating the complexity and harmony of creation. Once again, God looks upon his work and deems it good, confirming that everything was made perfectly. Although dinosaurs are not directly mentioned in the Bible, the reference to wild animals may suggest their inclusion in this category. These gigantic creatures could fit the description of land animals created by God, raising the possibility that they coexisted with other forms of life mentioned in the scriptures. The absence of the word dinosaur in the Bible can be explained by the language used when the book of Genesis was written. Different terms were employed to describe large creatures, which sparks debates about how these animals were known and categorized in ancient accounts. Among the creatures mentioned in the Bible, two stand out due to their grandeur and mystery: Leviathan and Behemoth. The first is described as a massive, untamable and terrifying sea creature, while the latter is depicted as a land animal of incredible strength. Over the centuries, many scholars have suggested that these descriptions could be related to dinosaurs of different species, raising questions about their potential coexistence with humans. The characteristics attributed to Leviathan and Behemoth share remarkable similarities with dinosaurs recognized by science. The Leviathan, a beast of the seas, might be referencing creatures like plesiosaurs, large aquatic reptiles. Meanwhile, Behemoth, with its robust frame and herbivorous habits, could be associated with massive dinosaurs like sauropods. This connection strengthens the hypothesis that the biblical accounts could be describing extinct species that once roamed the earth in ancient times. The very term dinosaur didn't come into existence until the 19th century, meaning terrible lizard. Before that, large, unknown creatures were described using the terms available at the time. This limitation in vocabulary could explain why biblical texts don't directly reference dinosaurs, but instead use other ways to identify them, like the impressive creatures described in the Book of Job. In Jewish tradition, Behemoth is often mentioned as one of God's most powerful creations. In the Book of Job, its description highlights a colossal being that feeds on grasses like an ox, possesses immense strength in its belly and loins, and has a tail compared to a cedar tree. Its bones are described as being like bronze tubes, and its thighs like iron bars, details that directly echo the physical features of a large herbivorous dinosaur. The description of Behemoth in the Book of Job presents a creature of colossal proportions whose physical structure resembles that of a titanosaurus. It is portrayed as a being with massive muscles in its belly and immense strength in its loins, supported by a gigantic tail compared to a cedar tree. These details directly recall the characteristics of a large, herbivorous dinosaur, reinforcing the idea that this could be one of the ancient creatures mentioned in the scriptures. In addition to its immense size, Behemoth is described as a herbivore, feeding on grass much like an ox. This trait suggests a peaceful nature similar to the large sauropods, which spent most of their time grazing. Its gigantic frame was not associated with aggression, but rather with the tranquility of a being whose diet depended on the abundant vegetation surrounding it. The strength and grandeur of Behemoth are emphasized in the Bible through striking comparisons. Its bones are likened to bronze tubes and its legs to iron bars, highlighting its powerful and resilient structure. Such details underscore its majesty, making it one of God's most awe-inspiring creations, an almost invincible being. Behemoth's habitat is also mentioned, portraying it as an animal that inhabits grassy fields in the mountains, seeking shelter beneath large trees among reeds and mud. It is often described near streams and surrounded by willows, reinforcing its peaceful nature and connection to lush, verdant environments filled with water. Finally, the Bible stresses the impossibility of hunting or capturing Behemoth. Its enormous size and strength render any attempt to control it futile. The scale of this creature is so vast that it could even flood a river with the amount of water it consumes, clearly establishing its position as one of the most imposing creatures ever created. The immense strength and imposing nature of Behemoth raise intriguing questions about its true identity. The meaning of its name, translated as beast or great beast, further emphasizes the idea of a colossal creature, possibly resembling a dinosaur. In ancient languages such as Hebrew, Phoenician, and Arabic, the term retains this reference to magnitude, suggesting that Behemoth could be a prehistoric animal described in the Bible. This possibility supports the idea that the existence of dinosaurs doesn't conflict with Scripture. The creation of large animals mentioned in the Bible may very well include these creatures, harmonizing the biblical account with the scientific discoveries of fossils. The Book of Job is often cited as evidence that dinosaurs may have coexisted with humans. The passage describing Behemoth suggests it was created by God around the same time as humanity, casting doubt on the notion that these creatures lived millions of years before mankind. Some interpretations suggest that both dinosaurs and humans were created on the same day. Additionally, the diversity of these creatures raises the possibility that certain species may have emerged later through unknown processes, hinting at a variation in creation over time. The absence of Behemoth among the animals mentioned in Noah's Ark raises significant questions about its fate. The Bible details the species saved from the flood, but there is no direct reference to this colossal creature. This suggests that, unlike the animals preserved by God, Behemoth may have perished during the event, leading to its extinction. If this being was indeed a dinosaur, as some believe, its absence from the Ark strengthens the hypothesis that these creatures did not survive the cataclysm. In addition to the flood narrative, the Book of Enoch offers another intriguing perspective on dinosaurs. According to this apocryphal text, these creatures were not part of the original creation, but were the result of a fusion between different beings. This process allegedly involved the Nephilim, hybrid beings born from the union of fallen angels and human women, or possibly terrestrial animals. The Nephilim are described as giants with extraordinary strength. If these unions gave rise to hybrid forms of life, some of them could have led to the dinosaurs. In the Book of Enoch, the beings resulting from these unions are depicted as massive and menacing, creatures that inhabited the earth before the flood and were eradicated as part of divine judgment. Given these possibilities, the story of the Nephilim and their connection to the dinosaurs can be further explored. Delving into this topic in future discussions would unravel mysteries about the giants and the events that led to their extinction, expanding our understanding of these ancient accounts. The connection between dinosaurs and the giants of antiquity becomes even more fascinating when we delve into the account found in the Book of Enoch. This text mentions the origin of the giants as a result of the union between fallen angels and human women. These hybrid beings, known as the Nephilim, possessed colossal size and strength, becoming a threat to the divine creation. The interaction between celestial beings and humans allegedly didn't only result in giants, but also in other colossal life forms that disrupted the natural order. The Book of Enoch also refers to experiments involving the fusion of fallen angels with terrestrial animals. Among these creatures, reptiles are said to have been altered, giving rise to monstrous, predatory beings. The carnivorous and fearsome dinosaurs could, according to this view, be the product of these demonic experiments, becoming part of the corruption that led God to intervene with the flood. The absence of dinosaurs on Noah's Ark lends further support to this theory. As they were tied to the corruption of the fallen angels, these creatures were not preserved because they did not belong to the original creation. Only the pure species were saved, while the corrupted beings were condemned to destruction. Yet some colossal creatures may have survived for a time after the flood. Behemoth, described in the Book of Job, exhibits characteristics similar to those of a titanosaurs, suggesting that certain species of dinosaurs might have persisted for a while, but eventually faded into extinction. This biblical view positions the flood as the true event responsible for the extinction of dinosaurs, rather than the scientific theory of a meteor impact. The destruction of these creatures would have been a direct consequence of divine judgment upon a corrupted earth. In light of all the evidence and interpretations, the question remains, Did dinosaurs truly exist as science describes, or is there something more hidden behind their history? The scriptures present us with colossal creatures such as Behemoth and Leviathan, beings that might have been references to these giants of the past. So what do you think? Could Behemoth be a type of titanosaurs, or were dinosaurs magnificent creatures created by God and wiped out in the flood? Share your thoughts in the comments. If you enjoyed this content, be sure to subscribe to the channel, share it with your friends and family, and stay tuned for more discussions on this fascinating topic. See you next time.